No, that's where my outfit landed. I guess they had it pretty rough for a day or two. But I was still aboard ship because I was on the ship list loading boats.
Now,
It's
those
kind of good to be on the ship list at times.
yeah, those Higgins boats, are they kind of like a big dory or something like that, or
The what?
the Higgins boats you were talking
Oh,
about?
they're just like a little speedboat or
Yeah.
something like that, only a little bigger. The first ones.
Double ender with a motor, outboard motor or inboard motor?
Well, they'd have a inboard motor, I guess. I don't know where the motor was. And there were several different types.
Yeah. Well, did you have to land under fire from time to time? You were usually
Oh, I
later.
guess I was landing. Yeah, I landed under fire, but I never saw where anything came from or never fired a shot.
Hmm.
But the guy right next to me was a doctor, and he about shot his arm off.
Oh God.
Right next to mine. We were laying flat on our. His arm was right next to mine, and no, something blew up, and a big piece of shrapnel hit his arm. What it was one of our light tanks that came ashore, and we were laying down in front of a road that went along the beach. And it had the dirt road had the banks about that high, so we were laying back of that, and I remember this little tank came by on the road, and it took a couple of direct hits, and shrapnel was flying all over the place, and this doctor that was right by me got hit in the arm. My arm was here, and my right arm was here, and his left arm was there, and he got a pretty good wound. And I remember he was in charge of all the corpsmen, you know, the hospital guys in that battalion. And when we were just right on the beach, and they damn near killed him. 2 or 3 of them came and gave him a morphine shot.
Oh. Oh God.
That was on Saipan. Guadalcanal I landed at, oh hell, 20 days or better. I don't know how long it was after they landed. When they first landed on Guadalcanal, there was an airport there, and that was the main reason they landed there. And there was one place they caught the Japs off guard, and it took the airport practically without firing a shot. But Tulagi, across the harbor, where my outfit landed, they had quite a few troops on there. But I didn't get off there either. I went on back to New Caledonia because we hadn't got all the gear off the ship, and I was on the ship list or something and loading gear. They'd go down in the holds and bring it up. There's elevators that went down, and you'd load up an elevator, and then you'd load it aboard the landing craft.
That'd be food and ammunition and
Oh yeah,
machine gun,
everything
things
you
like
needed,
that?
Yeah.
And did that stuff come like in boxes or all different ways?
All different ways. Cans of water, cans of gasoline. You know those cans that
Jeep cans.
Jeep cans, I guess, a lot of them.
Huh.
I know all our water cans were ex-gasoline cans, and the water tasted like gas.
Oh God.
For several days there. Then you had 2 canteens, I think, like on Guadalcanal. So you never drank much water. Let's see. But Guadalcanal was like a 20 or 30 days or 40 days. I don't know how long the troops were on it, but most of the islands I was on, the fight only lasted 2 or 3 days because they were just little islands. But really, really enforced with bunkers all over, 12-foot thick walls and buried with sand. You couldn't even see the damn things. Anyway, so you landed on, I didn't land on Guadalcanal until a lot later. Across the harbor, my outfit landed on Tulagi. And then we got driven out by the Jap Navy and Air Force. And the ship I was on was with I don't know how, it was part of the convoy that had all the gear on it. And we got driven up and they took refuge at, I think it was New Caledonia. And then a couple of weeks later, why, I guess they got a group of ships together, and then we all went back to our outfits wherever they landed, whether it was Guadalcanal or Tulagi.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's not much going on there. That was a kind of a, just sit around and get bit by malarial mosquitoes. I think they did, just before we landed, they didn't even have what is it you take for malaria?
Quinine?
Quinine.
Did they give you that sometimes beforehand?
Well, they were supposed to, but they didn't have it, so they didn't have any pills on our ship, I guess, so they'd give you a slice of bread and then put about a quarter of a teaspoon of powdered quinine on it. And you'd have to roll that up kind of and swallow that. And then they came out with what they called Atabrine. That was a yellow pill. Boy, some guys really turned yellow. You could get yellow both from yellow jaundice, they called it. And then those yellow pills, they'd make you yellower yet. So there was a lot of guys that were just yellow as anything when they got to New Zealand. Then one day I was up at the McGill people, the ones that picked us up, and there was a park between where they lived and downtown Wellington. It was called Central Park, and of all things, the division band was stationed there. So old Pop says, and Ma says, why don't you go down there and get in the band? Didn't you say you played a horn? I says, yeah, but I could never get in. I said, I wouldn't play that well. So I stopped off and went in, and they tried me out, and I told them I played baritone, but for some reason they brought out a sousaphone. So I played the scale on the sousaphone, of course.
Mm-hmm.
First time I ever had one in my, and they said, you're in. And then I says, how come you tried me out on that? And I said, I play baritone. Oh. The division band had, let's see, the regimental band. Had about 3 baritone horns. It's a good thing because I couldn't play worth a damn myself. I thought I had it made, but when we got back to home, we found out the division band, all they were stretcher bearers, they were hit harder than the infantry companies. Percentage-wise.
Oh.
Running up and picking up casualties, kind of interesting to find out Dirk played the euphonium too, and he was in the Navy Corpsman, and that's who we worked with, the Navy Corpsman. See, the Marines didn't have medics. It was the Navy medics would be assigned to the Marines.
I see.
There's no Marine Corps medic. They were all Navy. I got a stomach ache from what little I ate here, so I'm going to get rid of this. Get it out of my sight. It's making me sick looking at it. Looks like I got to go around something. What's that?